Something that as a business owner is super frustrating and really sad is that, for example, a business owner making $200,000 of profit per year, in this example, can get half the mortgage power as an employee making half of the amount. In other words, $100,000. Doesn't really make sense. Let's dive into it. Okay, so in this example, a business owner makes $200,000 of profit, but as he should, of course, he only claims $50,000. His accountant said, hey, you get a lot of tax refunds if you claim less, leave it in your corp. So off $50,000 of profit, typically rule of thumb is 5 times your profit or your income. It's how much mortgage you'll get. He's getting $250,000. Now let's say the employee, we'll call her Sally, she's making $100,000 and that's what she claims, of course. She has no way to tax shelter that and she gets $500,000 worth of mortgage. So she makes half the amount as him, but gets double the mortgage because she had to claim all her income. He chose to only claim $50,000, okay? And that saved him taxes, but now he can't really get a mortgage. So zooming out, like how does a CRA look at income for someone self-employed? I get the question all the time. Do they care if it's dividends? Do they care if it's business income, commission income? Generally not. They want to see some consistency. It has to make qualitative sense. That's a tax accountant question on the semantics of that. But you'll see on your T1 personal, that's your personal tax form as someone who's self-employed, line 15,000 or line 150, used anonymously. That's your net profit, no matter if it comes X amount from even you being employee for yourself, dividend income, commission income. Again, doesn't really matter. So that is one thing they look at. They times it by 5-ish, okay? So in this case, 50,000 times 5, that's how that works. So you're probably wondering, Paul, as a business owner who wants to save on taxes, but I also want to make sure I have enough mortgage power, what can I do in this scenario? If I make $200,000 worth of profit, how much should I claim? Well, let's take a couple examples. Option 1 as a business owner, you can just claim $100,000. Yes, you pay more taxes, but claim $100,000, get $500,000 of mortgage power. Again, this assumes no debts, by the way. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Talk to your accountant. Now, what about like maybe a bit more of a tax efficient solution? Okay, here's a fun one. So you can still claim the $50,000 personally, okay? Now, what you can also do, if you have retained earnings, that's profit from the years before. So you gotta be in business for at least a year before. You can dip into the retained earnings, and as long as there's an increase of about 50,000 retained earnings, that can be looked at from the lender because they know you've got money in the bank, right? And they know there was deferred profit. So in this case, and there's only one lender I know who does this, as long as you put down 25% down payment, you can claim 50,000, show retained earnings of at least 50,000, and it's as if you claimed $100,000. Thus, you get a mortgage of $500,000. That's a great one that I've seen. And you've got to, of course, think ahead and make sure you have the retained earnings, okay? So those are the two options: claim more personal income or have retained earnings and be able to show that properly. The key learning from all of this is you have to make sure your accountant and your mortgage broker talk. And it's always a balance of tax efficiency and mortgage power. And as I just showed you, a couple basic ways with best rate lenders, by the way. B lenders, private lenders, you can be a lot more flexible there. But for best rates, there are ways to do this strategically. And I think people who come to me, I think they put a lot of blind faith in their accountant who mean well. They're very myopic on one sliver of the picture. This is a whole financial picture, and it just takes you being a connector. So again, to recap, when you are planning in the future, make sure that you understand how much retained earnings you have. This is assuming you're incorporated, by the way. If you're not incorporated, you will not have retained earnings. So I'll clarify that actually. But make sure you can see if you have retained earnings. Otherwise, make sure that you talk to your accountant on what is the best tax efficient form between dividends, commission income, business income, because there are actually ways that can have its own tax benefits. But for a lender, all that adds up to your net income, and they will generally take that times it by 5, okay? So come to me if you're in doubt, hang in there. I love my entrepreneurs. Keep doing what you're doing, have your freedom, have your tax strategy, and make sure you put a roof over your head in the right way. Thanks so much for watching. See you out there.